Alright, we are at the National Museum of American History here in Washington, D.C. So let's get in there and see what's up. Alright, so we got a map here. I don't know how to read maps. We're on the first floor. So it says it's got American Enterprise, Archive Center, Smithsonian Library Gallery, the value of money, learning lounge, lighting a revolution, power machinery, America on the move, change your game, Sparkle Lab, Wonder Place in the conference center. So let's figure out where to go. All right, we're gonna start on the second floor to the Star-Spangled Banner exhibit. So let's get up there and see what's up. All right, on our way there, I saw this Clara Bartons ambulance, 1898 to 1904. This ambulance is one of 11 vehicles purchased in 1898 by the Central Cuban Relief Committee of New York for the use of Clara Barton and the American National Red Cross. It's very cool, actually. The Star-Spangled Banner, the flag that inspired the national anthem. Let's get in here. On September 14th, 1814, U.S. soldiers at Baltimore's Fort McHenry raised a huge American flag to celebrate a crucial victory over the British forces during the War of 1812. In 1812, the United States declared war with Great Britain, angered by British interference with American trade. The young nation was intent on reaffirming its recently won independence. Instead, a series of defeats left Americans anxious and demoralized. They were stunned when on August 24th, 1814, British troops marched into Washington, D.C. and set the Capitol building and the White House ablaze. Oh, and here's a little depiction of that. Huh. Kind of cool, actually. White House timber charred by the fire in 1814. So that's part of the White House that was charred up. Baltimore in balance. Americans' future seemed more uncertain than ever as the British set their sights on Baltimore, Maryland, a vital seaport. On September 13th, 1814. British warships began firing bombs and rockets on Fort McHenry, which protected the city's harbor. The bombardment continued for 25 hours while the nation awaited news of Baltimore's fate. This must have been one of them. Fragment of an exploded bombshell. That's a fragment. So this must have been a bombshell. I don't know. And that's a fragment of it. Please, it says please touch. Please touch. Oh. Here's the bombshell. British bombshell of the type fired on Fort McHenry. So this is what they fired on. See that from the ship. There's Fort McHenry. So those were falling down on there. These big old things. Spyglass early 1800s of the type he might have used. Oh, that's a big old glass they would look through. Alright, no photography. So we gotta turn these off now. Alright, so that was where the flag was being displayed, like the actual flag. So they didn't want any light or anything to bother it. So we couldn't film that. But here's the Star-Spangled Banner. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light, I need to quit singing. It's pretty cool, huh? United States Marine Band at the White House. Legacy of the Star-Spangled Banner. The Star-Spangled Banner is a national treasure. It's inspired the song that became the national anthem and established the American flag as the country's most significant symbol. In times of celebration and crisis, pride and protest, people have raised the flag to express their ideas about what it means to be an American. Very cool. Alright. Moving on. Our dreams for America are expressed in the objects that we use and the objects that we treasure. We strive for a voice in government and a chance to improve our economic situation and the freedom to practice our religions. We aspire to make our own decisions, create homes and raise families, get an education, and to help others. Remember that, people, help others. Our dreams are not always the same, but our efforts to see them realized shape the nation we share. Ooh, look at that clock. I want me a nice old grandfather clock. I had a cheap looking one, got rid of it. I want a nice one. A real nice one. Alright, so what's this? Who is this? We build together. Who is that? He got some big old feet. Oh, that's George Washington. George Washington, 1732 to 1799. George Washington spent his life in service to the nation. As a young man, he served in Virginia military and the House of Burgesses, whatever. The Continental Congress appointed him commander of the newly formed Continental Army. He led his troops to victory in American independence in 1783. The retired general served as president for the Constitutional Convention in 1787. When the Constitution was ratified, Washington was the unanimous choice for President of the United States of America. After 2 terms, he again retired to life as a wealthy Virginia planter. The nation mourned when he died, December 14th, 1799. There he is. That's a statue of him. I don't know why he looks like that, but yeah, he worked out, mofo. You got some abs there, Mr. Washington. Tell you that. How did we become us, the U.S.? Some of us remained in place as the United States expanded to our land. What? Some of us were forcibly brought here. Yes, some of us were. That's terrible. Some of us came here voluntarily. Okay. And some of us were already here. Yeah, they were. Indigenous. How did we become us? Here we go. So we're just going to do a little walkthrough tour. Some of these photos here. Parts of our history.
How do we become the United States? アメリカ人というアイデンティティはどのようにして生まれたのでしょうか?
Unsettling the continent, 1492 to 1776. It was an age of empires. The great European powers competed for wealth, territory, and global influence. That competition brought hundreds of thousands of Europeans and Africans to North American continent, where native peoples had lived for a millennium. What happened next was profound unsettling of the continent. The continent's population actually declined in this period, as the old world diseases swept through the native populations that lacked immunity. Beyond that profound tragedy, there would be new conflicts, new forms of freedom, and new forms of slavery, and new ways of living together. Our world today grows out of the unsettling history. Native people had their own histories on the continent. This hat, made in the Pacific Northwest, depicts a water spirit in the form of 8 eagles. It embodies the history of Lutakin and T, I don't know, a founder of the Eagle Clan of Titsamayan Nation. It's pretty cool, actually. Alright, here we go. Iron helmets such as this one developed during centuries of war among competing European monarchs. Oh, I get it. So this is like the native people. These are the people that came here voluntarily. So this is one of the European, like their soldier helmets. Christian religious fervor and the quest for personal wealth lay beyond early European efforts at conquest the Americans. And then here are the people that were forcefully brought here, the Africans. African cowrie shell necklace. West African cultures prize cowrie shells for the Indian Ocean as items of status and value. They became an accepted form of currency in the African slave trade. An estimated 344,000 people would be captured and transported directly to the mainland North. So it says this is a map showing beaver in the upcountry as imagined by French mapmaker Henry Abraham Chatelain. Here's a pair of moccasins from 1790. Wow. Peter Stuyvesant, governor of New Amsterdam, fostered cooperation and enterprising spirit among the varied people there. To accomplish this, he awarded land grants that gave recipients the rights to live, farm, and trade. This grant is for land in Midwoot, part of today's Brooklyn. Oh. Who is this? Portrait of Miss Charles Lowndes by Jeremiah Thies around 1758. Profits from the rice culture, the slave trade, and commerce with Europe created a class of successful English Scots, the French Huguenots, many transplanted from the West Indies. Pictured here is Miss Charles Lowndes, wife of a plantation owner in Colton County, South Carolina. So these are like rice fields in the Carolinas. I honestly didn't even know we had rice fields in the Carolinas. Alright, what is this? Uncle Sam figure, early 1900s, introduced around the time of the War of 1812. Uncle Sam symbolized the Union during the Civil War. By the 1900s, the image of Uncle Sam came to represent the presence of the U.S. government. What do you think of that one? African American basket, Native American maize, a clog shoe from Sweden, drinking bowl from Norway, a sleigh bell from Finnish. So it's little bits of everything that was brought, to America from different parts of the world. Decorated egg from Ukraine, stirring spoon from France. So all these little bits were brought here from all over to create this, our United States of America, which we are all a part of, and most of us can trace our ancestries to foreign lands. So all are welcome. Remember that. It's over here. Indian delegates. These earliest known photographs of Native American delegates were taken during the journeys of 1850 to Washington, D.C. The U.S. government often brought representatives of the Indian tribes to the U.S. Capitol to exhibit the power of the nation and to ratify treaties. Here's some of the tools. Bringing the old world to the new, the Industrial Revolution in Germany pushed many to migrate to the American Midwest, where they could continue to work as independent craftsmen or farmers. In Wisconsin, Peter Glass farmed and used his woodworking skills while embracing his adopted country. He became an American citizen and made furniture that incorporated U.S. patriotic and historical motifs. That's pretty cool. Oh, here's some of the coins maybe? Those are some big coins, man. Very cool. Ooh, what's this? The slave trade. More than 10 million Africans were forcibly imported as part of the transatlantic slave trade between the 1600s and the early 1800s. The majority went through the Caribbean and South America. At least 388,000 were brought to the United States before U.S. law banned importation in 1808. Oh, so what again? Hold on. Millions, so there were millions. 388 were brought to America, so there's a lot in South America, in the Caribbean. Wow. It's a wash basin and pitcher from the 1800s. Penicillin bottles and stuff, little medicine bottles. Plates. This Columbia figure from the 1860s, with her Liberty cap and Patriot shield, Columbia was one of the many idealized feminine figures that personalized the new nation. I mean, she's given me a little bit of Lady Liberty look going on here, right? Kinda. It's pretty cool. There's just so much here, y'all. What's this? Nemipu, Denise Pierce. By 1700, more than 4,500 Nimipu lived in the Northwest Plateau region, now the state of Washington, Idaho, and Oregon. In 1805, they saved members of the Lewis and Clark expedition from starvation. Receiving them with hospitality, English, American, and French fur trappers followed, with the French giving them Nimipu the name of Nez Pierce, or pierced nose. Oh, wow. Snow White, pure cane sugar. So, sugar used to be called Snow White, huh? These are from Puerto Rico. It's just showing you bits of everything that, you know, brought us all together. Little bits of all our history. Because, you know, America's from everywhere. America's made up of everyone. So that's the importance of these type of museums, in my opinion. You know? Just remind people of that. There's a few people who maybe should stop by. It's not that far. Well, that's a desk from back in the day. It's amazing, actually. I love these kind of things. Hanging over, like the door knocker things and stuff. Old pipe. Alright, so this is a piece of artwork that was carried around in the year 2000, and it's meant to represent like agricultural workers and just people from all around and how they are a part of America. So I thought it was pretty cool. Okay folks, now we're heading up to the 3rd floor to check out the Price of Freedom exhibit. So, yeah. And it's free! Well, not freedom. That always comes at a cost, but this is. Where do you see R2D2? There's RuPaul. Hey, honey. There's Ricky. It's Lucy. R2D2 and C3PO. Oh my lord, look. My gosh. It's the Muppets. Fozzie. Fozzie. Who's the other one? Is that an early Kermit? That's the first Kermit? Oh my lord. Waka Waka. I don't like the first Kermit. Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey. I swear I think I went to, was it a Barnum? I went to Ringling, no, what was it? I went to some circus that had the elephants when I was little. I don't know if it's one of these, but. No, I think it was called the Shrine Circus actually. Hunger. Let's go see what this is. Farewell Songs of Jenny Lind in America, Jules Benedict. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
That surrounded a whole treaty territory. Held us at gunpoint to contain us here. This is about the time this
What are these? Oh, they're numbered. Okay. That one is number 2. Painted wood statue from a P.T. Barnum circus wagon. Okay. And then number 5, let's see. Mercy Lavina Warren Stratton's wedding shoes. So she must have been in, like, I don't know what to say, so you just figure it out. We're trying to be politically correct. Yeah. Who's that? Is that one of the, what is that? Oh. What is that? Cardinal Wolseley costume worn by Charlotte Cushman around 1857. Oh, that's a Cardinal's outfit. Or costume. What's this? Costume worn by Asian American dancer Dorothy Toy in 1940s. Want to show her in there? Hey! Oh my. Excuse me. Where was, okay, hold on. Silk suit worn by Lynn Manuel Miranda in Hamilton. Oh, in Hamilton. Oh, I see. I see what's going on here. Oh, there's Prince. That's Prince's guitar. Very cool. What's this? Hazmat costume worn by Bryan Cranston as Walter White in Breaking Bad.
Oh, that's their
Is that Mr. T stuff? What is that? Number 18. Let's see. 18. No, the Marathon clothing. Uh-oh. You know you gotta send that to somebody. That's the shield worn by Chris Evans as Captain America in Captain America Winter Soldier. Toby Keith's guitar. Joe Louis's boxing gloves from the first bout with Max Schmeling in 1936. Huh. There's so much here. Ooh, what's this sign from? Let's figure that out. Alright, signpost from the set of MASH. Uh-oh. 1982. What? That's pretty cool. Oh my. There's so much. So much. What's over here? Everything. I expect everything. Do it all. No. What is this? Alright, 12. Kristen Yamaguchi skates. Very cool. 14. Conga used by Emilio Esteban. Oh, yeah. Number 8. Piada Prom. Ooh, where's that? 8. Where's 8? No, 8 is that one. Okay. Cyndi Lauper's punk prom skirt from the cover of her debut solo album. She's So Unusual. That's Cyndi Lauper's dress.
They're Cyndi Lauper's girls.
2 is the gloves worn by Phil Verocchi of the U.S. hockey team in 1980. This is the jacket and hat worn by Harrison Ford. And all right, y'all, here is Archie Bunker's chair and Edith's chair. Look, from All in the Family. Y'all remember that? That's pretty cool. Just over here. This is the katana from I forget, from the Walking Dead lady. Ooh, oh, you guys watch Xena? Xena 3. Oh, there's Xena's outfit. And, I don't know who that is. Well, that's cool. Xena's outfit. Julie Newmar as Catwoman, her outfit. But Xena, that's cool. Xena, warrior princess. Alright, y'all. Here is Dorothy's ruby slippers from the 1939 film Wizard of Oz. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. Alright, y'all. We're going into my vault of money. So, no. She didn't laugh. Paper money was first used in China in the 11th century CE. In the United States, it has been played a central role in the development of the economy since the colonial period. The largest banknote denomination ever printed in the United States is $100,000 gold certificate. The U.S. government issued this note in 1934 as a means of transferring money between Federal Reserve banks. Oh my gosh. That's $100,000, y'all. That's $100,000, y'all. Foreign coins. Collecting money. I used to collect a couple coins. I had like a book for quarters or something, but I didn't do anything special. I don't know whatever happened to it. No. This ain't too exciting to me. I don't. Here's some different currencies from around the world. Australia. The Queen's money. Zambia. Romania. Chile. I don't know what the heck that says. Hong Kong. And American money, honey. Ooh, these is cool. Silver certificate. $50 gold coin. Non-metallic money. It's what was used for trade and stuff back in the day. Early coins. Metallic money. Again, on a barter kind of system, you know. You could use these metals for things, so they had value. Paper money. What's that say? Number 14, what's that one? Great Ming Circulating Treasury Note. What's that? Look at this room, y'all. Look, a Simon. Did y'all have a Simon? I had a Simon. What else? Batman. But anyway, this is Ralph Baer's workshop. The workshop from 1922 to 2014. The inventor of the first video game, Baer designed his own home, and within it, this personal sanctuary. Here he worked on dozens of different inventions. Besides the video game, they included They include the games Odyssey, Simon, Maniac, and Computer Perfection, as well as electronic toys, talking books, and talking tools. In recognition of his work, Bear was inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame and received the National Medal of Technology among many other honors. So just take a minute and look at this dude's workshop and just think of how many of the toys you guys have played with that he invented, right? This is a John Bull locomotive from 1831, y'all.
One of the first locomotives to run.
It's one of the earliest steam locomotives in the United States. It was imported from England in 1831 for the use of the first rail link between New York and Philadelphia.
What is that one? A flat bottom rail.
Okay. Just imagine being on that thing. That's a pretty thick machine right there. General Motors Hall of Transportation, America on the Move. Ooh, on the water. Let's go in there. Gosh. What's that? You tell me. The United States grew up on the water and remains a maritime nation to this day. For more than 500 years, waves of new Americans arrived by sea. In that time, the nation's seacoasts, rivers, lakes, and canals became avenues of exploration, communication, and commerce. Life and work on the water for seafarers, fishers, passengers, and many others unfolded through the immense challenges and achievements and occasional disasters. Web of connection. Thousands of ships carried explorers, merchants, and migrants from Europe to the Americas. They also transported millions of enslaved men and women from Africa. Vessels bound back to Europe carried gold, silver, sugar, tobacco, rice, and other cargoes, along with returning travelers. Every crossing brought new encounters between people, customs, and ways of life, ultimately creating entirely new cultures in the Americans. And here's some of the ships. Let's see. Number 1 over here is the Susan Constant from 1607. Let's see, what's the biggest one on here? One of those. Let's see. That looks kind of like the ship from Peter Pan, Captain Hook ship. So number 11, the Santa Maria. That is Christopher Columbus ship that he sailed across in 1492. Right there, big old boy. What's this one? Number 7. The London. Settlers exported vast amounts of timber cut from forest in the Americas, such as naval stores and turpentine and tar. That was a good ship. Defending Independence, Articles of the Agreement. During the Revolution of War of 1812, privately armed ships called privateers were first officially authorized to attack British vessels and seize their cargo. So what's that mean? It was like a legal pirate ship? Huh. Okay. Here's some of the weaponry. Number 1 over here, we got a saber and a pistol from France combination. Number 2, we got a small sword from France. Number 3, we got a naval cutlass. Number 4, English short musket. That's a short one? What? Number 4 is a short one? Okay. Number 5, double barrel shotgun. Number 6, musketoon from the 1700s. And number 7 is an English pistol. What's this one? What? Huh? What? Oh, Blackbeard. Let's jump on board and cut them to pieces. Edward Teck, the pirate Blackbeard. Edward Teck, about 1680 to 1718, wore his thick black beard, long adorned with ribbons. It gave him his nickname, and before battles, he hung smoldering fuses from his beard to terrify his enemies. What? In the early 1700s, Blackbeard captured dozens of merchant vessels in the Caribbean and along the Atlantic coast. In 1718, he raided Charleston, South Carolina, seized many ships, and demanded a ransom for several of the best inhabitants of this place. Later that year, he was killed in battle with the British Navy. The British fleet commander, Lieutenant Robert Maynard, brought Blackbeard's head back to the shore to claim a $100 reward. Oh my gosh. Blackbeard's flagship, the Queen Anne Revenge. Blackbeard captured a French slaver named Concorde in the Caribbean in November 1717. He renamed it the Queen Anne's Revenge and used it as his flagship for the next 7 months. In June 1718, Blackbeard deliberately ran the ship aground in Beaufort Inlet, North Carolina. He abandoned much of his crew and fled with a smaller group, probably so he could keep more of his loot. Divers discovered the wreck in 1996. Since then, thousands of artifacts from the early 1700s have been recovered, providing a remarkable window on the life aboard a pirate ship. Very cool. Alright, 1876, Community Dreams, Santa Cruz, California. A railroad comes to town. By the 1870s, iron rails ran coast to coast, connecting more of the interior of the United States than ever before. Towns and cities now could flourish away from the coast and waterways as what had been America's main transportation networks. Food and manufactured goods could be distributed nationally. Railroads created new social, political, and economic ties among people spread across thousands of miles. To many Americans, a railroad connection promised new prosperity and new opportunities. That's awesome looking, huh? No, kitty cat. Jupiter. Alright, so this is Jupiter from 1876. Made in Philadelphia, Jupiter was the Santa Cruz Railroad's third locomotive. Built for narrow gauge tracks, Jupiter became obsolete in 1883 when the line switched to standard gauge tracks. Jupiter was sold to Guatemala, I don't know, where it hauled banana, Guatemala, y'all read it, Guatemala, I don't know. Where it hauled bananas for more than 60 years. In 1976, it came to Smithsonian as part of the United States Bicentennial Exhibition. It's a nice train, though. Washington, D.C., 1900s. It's called a knife grinder's cart. Washington streets were alive with the vendors and tradesmen pushing carts, like one from door to door, plying wares of offering services. Most hansom cabs were public vehicles available for hire, but this one was owned by a Washington, D.C. family. They used it until the 1920s. So the delivery wagon. So trolley. Electric streetcar. I'm sorry. This is an electric streetcar from 1898. Pretty awesome. 1903. Winston Touring Car, Vermont, 1903. Old traffic meters, parking meters. Insert a nickel, don't we wish? A nickel. Can't even buy a gun for a nickel. Ford Model T Roadster from 1926. Oh my God, I swear we had one of those vans when I was little. We had one of those vans when I was little. Oh, there's that big boy. Peterbilt model 359 tractor from 1986. There's a big old boy right there, I'll tell you what. Y'all, we're about to get on the Chicago, Illinois subway system from the 1950s. Look at that. We're riding up here with these folks. How are you? I'm doing well. Okay, we got to get off soon, so we're just going to come. Oh, Lord. Can you slow down a bit there, sir? Hold on. Oh, my gosh. They's going to post me on TikTok. I hope they put my link. No. What's this pretty little car here? That's a pretty little green right there. This one of them old station wagons. Look at that right there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Harley Davidson motorcycles from 1942. Vroom vroom, yo yo. a Studebaker Champion Starlight from the 1950s. And back here, what do we got? I don't know. But it's a pretty little truck, I'll tell you that. Look, he looking through the window. Let's do that. What's in there? I don't know. Alright, now we're looking at the American Presidency, a glorious burden.
Hey, do you guys want a picture of Jack?
I do not. The first ladies. So pretty. Oh, here we go. So let's go through the list of presidents, folks. Alright, so our first president, George Washington, 1789 to 1797. Then we got John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, James Monroe, John Quincy Adams, Andrew Jackson, Martin Van Buren, William Henry Harrison, John Taylor, James K. Polk, Zachary Taylor, Millard Fillmore, Franklin Pierce, James Buchanan, Abraham Lincoln, Andrew Johnson, Ulysses S. Grant, Rutherford B. Hayes, James Garfield, Chester A. Arthur, Grover Cleveland, Benjamin Harrison, Grover Cleveland, William McKinley, Theodore Roosevelt, William H. Taft, Woodrow Wilson, Warren G. Harding, Calvin Coolidge, Herbert Hoover, Franklin D. Roosevelt, Harry Truman. Then we got Dwight D. Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy, Lyndon B. Johnson, Richard M. Nixon, Gerald R. Ford, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, George Bush, William J. Clinton, Bill W. Bush, Barack Obama, Donald J. Trump, Joseph R. Biden Jr., and Donald J. Trump, our current president. Very cool. Grover Cleveland's first inauguration on East Puerto Rico, U.S. Capitol, March 4th, 8. Yes. It's a dollhouse about 1896 made by a White House gardener and given to the children of Grover Cleveland during his second administration. That's really nice, actually. Oh, chess set. Did y'all know I won a chess tournament when I was a little kid in elementary school? Whose chess set is it? First Lady Rosalind Carter and her daughter Amy relaxing at the White House, 1979. Maybe it's their chess set? It's a nice one though. I like the table. President Warren G. Harding wore this elegant silk pajamas made by Chevre et Felice of New York and Paris. His monogram is embroidered on the left pocket. He also owned the brown slippers. He was pimping back then, huh? President Garfield. Warren G. Harding's funeral.
Just one month into his administration, he was the first American president to die in office. Sadly, Thomas succumbed.
The long and final ride, the funeral of Abraham Lincoln. Mary Lincoln decided the president should be buried in Springfield, Illinois, his former home, before leaving Washington on April 21st. Some comic strips.
No, yeah, it was like picture of this and this like this. I didn't know what to do, so they only they said it was gonna be Macy was like a shower. I probably slept no out of the door. Macy was helping us in the shower and Macy was helping me turn on the shower and she literally was moving the curtains. They went in the toilet, but they almost
This easy chair was located near Washington's bed. He sat in it not long before he died. The upholstery is not the original.
It's the chair.
But it was the chair.
Easy chair.
President Dwight D. Eisenhower's golf clubs and bag. Okay. A ballot box. The President of the United States is arguably the most powerful and influential individual in the world today. Ultimately, presidential power emanates from the consent of the governed. So here's a ballot box used in Fulton County, Georgia in 1919, presented to the Smithsonian Institute by the Fulton County Board of Commissions in 1969. Alright, y'all, thanks for joining us on this little trip to the Smithsonian American History Museum. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave us a like, subscribe, become a member if you want to. And until next time, we'll see you later, okay? Bye!
Peter Pan, that's what they call me. I promise that you'll never be lonely. Peter Pan, that's what they call me. I promise that you never